All right, so which one do we have to read today?
Lion.
We have to read George and the Dragon.
Read Jordan.
106. So for George and the Dragon, we're on page 106. Sorry, Addie wanted to sit in my lap, so we're doing sitting in my lap. Okay, let's see.
But this one.
Hold on. All right, we got it. George and the Dragon. This story begins in the distant land of fairies. The queen of the fairies had taken in young George when he was just a tiny baby. The fairies raised George to be brave and strong. They taught him to be a noble knight, skilled with a sword, but even more skilled with his mind. In time, the queen of the fairies called George to see her. It was time for George to seek his destiny. Those are the fairies, and that's George. Remember what we just said? You had to pay attention. All right, turn the page. All right, we're on the next page. Okay. Hold it still. You have to put it down, babe. Hold it still. You have to put it down. I can't read it. You have to put it down. I can't read it. Your journey begins today, she told him. As you travel, you must always remember one thing. Your greatest weapon is your mind. Then George set off. He traveled for weeks. Honey, I can't read if you're moving it. Can you keep it still? He approached a town called Selene. He noticed the land had changed from lush and green to dark and desolate. The trees were bare and black, and a foul stench filled the air. George made his way through the bleak landscape until he saw a castle just ahead in the distance. A high, solid wall surrounded the castle and the small city around it. The gate was closed up tight. All right, do you want to turn a page? All right, did you just skip pages? No, okay, there we go. A beautiful woman approached George. I am Princess Sabra. So let's see her. Move your hand. Can I see her? Go back. Excuse me. There we go. So that's Princess Sabra. I am Princess Sabra. You must leave here, she warned. It isn't safe. But I am a brave knight here to help you, George said. It is my destiny. I will assist you at all costs.
Mommy, is that George?
Yes, that's George. Sabra explained that a wicked dragon lived in the caves.
So what's that girl?
That's Princess Sabra.
Princess Sabra?
Mm-hmm.
And what's that boy? And what's that girl?
That's Knight George.
And what's that girl?
We just said Princess Sabra. Her people lived in fear of the beast that ravaged the land and devoured all of the animals. When the dragon has eaten up all of the animals, he will certainly look for a new source of food, said Princess Sabra. When that happens, our townspeople will be in danger of becoming the dragon's next meal. All right, and turn the page. All right, let's see.
This one is a dragon.
It's a big dragon. Yeah, he is. George knew they must hurry to the dragon's lair. They had to get there while the dragon slept. It was their only chance. What do we do? Asked Sabra. We must wait for all the sand to drop through the hourglass, replied George. Then the dragon stirred. He stood and rubbed his eyes. George watched as the very last grain of sand dropped through the hourglass. The glass turned icy cold. At that moment, the dragon yawned a great fiery yawn.
So what you're doing?
George saw his chance. He threw the hourglass into the dragon's mouth. The hourglass broke apart on the dragon's tongue in a cloud of icy mist. You see it? Mm-hmm. All right, let's turn the page. Good job. All right, let's see what it says here. The dragon was furious. He looked down to see George and Sabra. Then he stretched out his body before rearing back to hurl a fiery blast at them. I can't see it, baby. You have to let it go. There we go. To the great relief of George and Sabra. But to the horror of the dragon, only snow came from the great beast's mouth. The dragon took a deep breath and tried again, but his mouth was frozen shut. The hourglass had been filled with magical icy sand. The dragon jumped into the deep, warm lake to keep from freezing from the inside out. The dragon was never heard from again, living out his days in the warmth of the lake. All right, let's see. Is that the end of the story?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The dragon was never seen again? Oh, no, wait. Hold on. This is tough. Oh, there we go. News of the dragon's defeat traveled back to the village. When George and Sabra returned, they were greeted with cries of joy and triumph. The people of Selene were no longer prisoners in their own kingdom. The king offered George bags of gold in thanks, but George wanted no payment for his deeds. It was my destiny to help, George said. Knowing that I was able to provide a service for those in need is reward enough for me. George continued on his journey. The story of his heroism preceded him, but with each stop along the way, he added to the legend with his continued acts of bravery.
But that number.
That number is 118. 118.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if there's another page, or is that the end of the story? Oh, that's the end of the story. The end. And the story for tomorrow is The Princess and the Pea.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
Red dagger, red dagger, red dagger.
You ready to say goodnight?
Good night.
Yeah, guess what?
Hold on, I'm not finished.
What?
All right, you can put the book back.